right then, I thank you all, but I'll make up for you. I've got quite a sufficient report, but I'm going to report on our budget workshop and all of the budgets. We had no one from the local newspaper here to report on it or to sit in on our budget workshop, and so I just want to go ahead and get that out in the public. Our workshop was on August 23rd, where this board reviewed the proposed 2022-2023 fiscal year budgets for the general fund, the water and sewer enterprise, the Community Redevelopment Agency, or the CRA district, and the airport enterprise. And we also reviewed the suggested allocations for the $1,412,000 American Rescue Plan grant and the funds remaining in the CARES Act grant. The workshop was conducted in 2 sessions on that day, lasting about 5 hours total, which resulted in the draft 2022-2023 budgets, and are available through a public records request if y'all would like to see that. 4 members of the public attended the first half of the workshop, including my husband, who also attended the second half and videoed the approximately 5-hour workshop. The airport is expected to make approximately $89,000 in the next fiscal year, which includes an old outstanding delinquent hangar rent debt, rents from 11 hangars, and aircraft tie-downs, and aircraft fuel sales. All airport revenues are reinvested directly back into the airport, general operations, infrastructure upkeep, and fuel purchases, making the airport self-sufficient and alleviating the need for general fund tax dollars to be expended on the Carrabelle Thompson Airport. This budget is balanced. Airport revenues generated from airport-related rents and fuel sales cannot be used for expenses outside the airport budget. The CRA revenues are expected to be approximately $493,650 this year, generated through tax increment revenues contributed to by the City of Carrabelle and the Franklin County government. CRA expenditures are planned for district maintenance and cleanup, landscaping, irrigation, street signs, Christmas decorations, a few facade grants, roadway repairs, $75,000 for match funding to a $650,000 community development block grant for Marine Street revitalization. That's supposed to start here anytime soon now. $10,000 for event promotions and fireworks at the Holiday on the Harbor. $25,000 to replace fencing at Sands Park. And $90,000 for Phase 1 of the Military Flagpole Memorial at Veterans Park. This budget too is balanced. Revenues obtained from the CRA district tax increment revenues cannot be used for expenses outside the CRA district. Next year's water and sewer enterprise revenues are expected to be $2,436,000. Revenues are from water and sewer rate collections and tap fees. These revenues are allocated for general operations and maintenance of 2 water treatment plants, 1 advanced wastewater treatment plant, 5 water towers, numerous lift stations and master lift stations, equipment, miles of underground infrastructure, modest salary increases with associated benefits, capital projects to include construction of 2 bowl barns to provide shade over plant equipment, a truck lease payment, connection of 2 lift stations to an automated alarm system, 2 new sewer lift stations to be located at 2 new subdivisions, and an outbound reuse water meter at the wastewater treatment plant. $98,000 will be reserved for water and sewer contingencies. This budget is also balanced. Revenues obtained from water and sewer rate collections and tap fees cannot be used for expenses outside the water and sewer budget. Now for the general fund budget. This is the budget that affects your city property taxes. After a lengthy discussion regarding staff's proposed budget and comparison to several different millage rates, which I presented, including the current millage rate of 8.38, the rollback rate of 7.66, the millage rate of 7.25 proposed by staff, and a millage rate of 7, This board came to a consensus and agreed in principle to a millage rate of 7.25 for the next year. This is almost 1/2 mil below the rollback rate and a 1.13 mil below this year's millage rate. The City of Carrabelle had an increase in taxable property values from $135,281,000 last year to $147,971,000 this year. This is an increase of approximately $12,690,000 in property values in the City of Carrabelle. Budget cuts needed to take the millage down to 7 would require discontinuing the fireworks, which are budgeted for next year at $20,000, as well as removing the $10,000 for cemetery expansion and the $10,000 budgeted for the streets and roads capital project outlay. Staff warned us against taking the millage rate too low, which could result in the need for a future sharp rate hike in the event property values plummeted. So by using the millage rate of 7.25, the city can expect ad valorem tax revenues of approximately $1,092,000, up by $19,000 from last year. But we must remember that ad valorem tax revenues are supplemented by franchise fees, utility taxes, state revenue sharing, state sales tax, and the likes, making the city's total 2022-2023 general fund budget at $1,656,420. All revenues are tentatively allocated for general city operations and maintenance to include 2 museums, 5 city parks, 2 fishing piers, 2 boat ramps, the industrial building on Airport Road, a 60,000 square foot building, the post office building, a small rental building on Southeast Avenue B, the City Hall building right here, citywide utilities and street lights, 2 cemeteries, the commissioner's pay, the administrative department, the police department, streets and roads department, building department, and fire department. And we even accounted for increased fuel costs next year with the inflation rate. Modest salary increases with associated benefits were tentatively approved, along with $25,000 to local nonprofit organizations, $20,000 for the 4th of July fireworks, $61,000 for City Hall loan payments, and 2 truck lease payments, and this is just to hit the high spots. This budget, I'm proud to say, is balanced. The first budget hearing and tentative vote for the 7.25 millage rate and budget will be held on September 4, 2022 at 5:01 p.m. The second budget hearing and final vote for this 7.25 millage rate and budget will be held on September the 27th, 2022, again at 5:01 p.m. For transparency, the list of suggested expenditures for the $1,412,000 American Rescue Plan grant was posted on the city's website homepage about 5 weeks ago. Some project priorities were agreed to in principle during the budget workshop on August 23rd, but we will need to obtain cost estimates on several remaining project suggestions and then vote on a final list of project allocations. And as stated on the website, all of this will be conducted through advertised workshops and public meetings, whatever we decide. So if any of you have questions, just please let me know. I would be happy and proud to meet with you, to address your questions and give you a full review of the budget. I want everyone to have the opportunity to ask questions and to allow full transparency. And I am not going to go without thanking the staff and all of the department heads and departments employees for working with these budgets year after year. They've done a very good job. We've kept our expenses down since I've been on board for 11 years now, and I do appreciate it, and I appreciate you presenting the budgets as you did and recommending the 7.25 millage rate this year, down 1.13 from last year's rate. And I want to thank this board also for doing its part to keep city property taxes down and as low as possible for our citizens and property owners. So I'm just real proud of you all, and thank you very much. And now I will go to the attorney's report. Sir?